Hi guys, so Michael Gove responded to a question from the S&P surrounding a Scottish economy in an independent Scotland. So let's hear what he had to say.
When it comes to the economy, one thing is clear. It's the strength of the United Kingdom, the strength of the UK Exchequer, the strength of Her Majesty's Treasury, which has underpinned the economic resilience of the whole United Kingdom. We know that if Scotland were independent, as he fervently and honestly believes that it should be, Scotland would have the largest budget deficit of any country in Europe. It is only in the interests of the Scottish people to maintain our union, and that is why we need to maintain the power of the Treasury to support Scottish, Welsh, Northern Irish and English citizens.
Okay, so there's a number of different things I have to say about this. First of all, Scotland receives money from Westminster. Now, the budget deficit that he's talking about, he's excluding the fact that Scotland is part of the UK deficit. So when he's talking about a deficit, he's including all of he's focusing on Scotland, but he's ignoring the rest of the UK. Scotland is part of the deficit, yes, but this is a UK deficit, not a Scotland-only deficit. Now, Scotland receives its budget from Westminster. It's a fixed amount that they have to respect. Scotland has been respecting that budget over the last number of years. Scotland doesn't have the power to raise finance through borrowing. So that means that any finance that they have mainly comes from Westminster. So Michael Gove is saying that, well, Scotland would need to be financially self-sufficient. But if you don't allow it to raise money through borrowing, and you give it a fixed rate from Westminster, and you're talking about a budget deficit, which is actually part of the UK instead of just Scotland, then you're misleading the public here, and you're misleading Parliament. But that's part of what Michael Gove is all about. Now, I think another important aspect to look at is trade. And here's an interesting article from the Scottish government. It says here, international exports and imports from Scotland have increased over the past 20 years, including oil and gas. Eric's experimental statistics show that Scotland has an international trade surplus, with exports consistently higher than imports. In 2016, this trade surplus was estimated at around £2 billion, to 1.2% of GDP, which compared with the UK has shown a trade deficit in every year since 1998, and which currently sits at 1.3% of GDP. So Michael Gove and the Tories are more interested in convincing people that Scotland shouldn't become independent because it would not survive. But the reality is that they don't want Scotland to become independent, because Scotland is a very important economy, a thriving economy for the UK, and it would be extremely damaging for the UK if Scotland left. It's somewhat of a reverse Brexit, in a sense, that not in a reality, but in a sense that the Brexiteers have always said that the EU don't want the UK to leave because it would damage the EU economy, while in reality Scotland leaving would be extremely damaging to the UK economy, and the Tories would end up having to cut services or raise money somewhere else in order to fill the hole. They don't want Scotland to become independent, so they're trying to pretend and convince people that Scotland would be better off as a member of the United Kingdom. And we're going to see, as Brexit starts to impact, the damage is going to have on not just on the UK in particular, but on Scotland, of course, as well. So let me know in the comments, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks. Why not become a Patreon and enjoy access to our Discord server, where we share news, chat, and have some fun? If you become a patron, you can also make video suggestions on topics that are important to you. Check it out via the link in the description.